Good afternoon, interwebs. Matt Carter here with another Carter's Commentaries. Lovely spring day here in Southeast Texas. Um, Enjoyed my last few weeks here. Been retired, uh, but I go to church this morning, and I open up my good book. For all the digital stuff I like to use, I don't know why it makes me feel uh, good to do it this way, but I carry um, a little note taking or journaling pad, and I carry an old school paper Bible. So I like it. As I've said before, just because it allows me to see notes a little easier than the digital Bible app. I still use the Bible app, and I'll go back in and then highlight it there because I know I can recover it, and other people see it in the social media platform within that Bible app that I use. So, um, but I just happened to open the good book, man, sitting down, getting putting the date down and getting ready to take notes on the sermon like I like to do, and opens up to Isaiah, and it. I'm a New Testament guy. I'm not a. I've never been to seminary, and I, I don't know. I just always go back to Jesus said that we were freed from the rules, and as long as we kept that commandment of loving Lord our God with all our heart, mind, and soul, and then love our neighbor as ourselves, and we were going. The rest will kind of fall into play. So I know I'm a sinner. I know I need the good Lord's redeeming power, that grace that I can't do it on my own. And as a recovering Catholic, as I like to say, I think it gets me away from that idea that I'm somehow going to be good enough. So anyway, I tend to focus into the New Testament. That's usually where I like to quote scripture. But man, these scripture or these verses just jumped out at me because um, I know I have troubles, and I know you have troubles. Like there's life, man. That's the way it works. You can look at the topical stuff and look at financially, the inflation, the stuff going on with within the Ukraine, with Russia, and what that's going to mean for us, and so much feels like it's out of our control. And I think from a mental health standpoint, that's certainly um, especially my first responders, that relates because we're so used to being in control and navigating things. But as a follower, someone wants to be so faithful, though I don't always get it right. Um, these verses just jumped, and a little note that I had with those verses. So I'm gonna give you Isaiah 43, and it's 2, and I'm gonna jump over to 5 just because I like how it reads, and it resonated for me as much as anything I heard in church today. 43:5, but my note was oriented around 43:2. So here's 2. When you pass through the waters, I will be with you, and when you pass through the rivers, they will not sweep over you. When you walk through the fire, you will not be burned. The flames will not set you ablaze. And then I'll skip to 5, and it's, do not be afraid, for I am with you. I will bring your children from the east and gather you from the west. My note I had for 2 was, you get that, pass through the waters, pass through the rivers, walk through the fire. And it clearly was a sermon, but I jotted the note, through, not around. And it's I'm certainly, um, as a first responder, I'm certainly in tune with that. What we put ourselves through, but that goes too with your interpersonal relationships, your family relationships. The stuff that our loved ones, we tend to put those closest to us through some of the most difficult elements. And I'm even going to teach this week on some trauma readiness, and I know that that there's a huge impact to what our first responder life does to our most important people, our spouses, our kids, our parents, our brothers and our sisters. Like it's heavy. It's heavy what we are exposed to as first responders, and then what that does to us potentially long term, but certainly in the short term. Then we know that you should know that post trauma stress is real, even if it doesn't become a disorder. And but our all our families are impacted by that. But man, that just leapt out at me, that through not around, because we are so in tune with doing what we need to do. But God's with you. God is not gonna abandon you. He is there with you. So do not be afraid. And that isn't just about that. Don't be afraid when you're having to deal with the most difficult of scenes. Don't be afraid when you get back home and then it hits you. And know that there's resources out there for you. Whatever you're going through, and I don't know what it is, and I'm not as open as I am, I'm not taking that time to really talk on this video about what I may be going through right now. Long term is a little different, but God is with you. He says so. And we do not have to be afraid. I think that's Satan pulling at us. Know that God has you in his hand. He knows you. He loves you. He knows every hair. Embrace that. Be safe. Be well. Take care of yourselves and take care of each other.